Now to tackle reinstalling or installing a new valve, and but as luck would have it, I'm in the trench, so even shorter than usual, but means you can see me, which is great. So look, I've had to play with this before. It's just a question of undoing this cord here. Now we acknowledge, look, over time that can become a little difficult to undo, and you might actually need a pair of pliers. So certainly we acknowledge that is the case. We'll get that undone and simply slip out the float. This is the valve we're going to be reinstalling. Just make sure I've got my valve turned off down there. This is the valve we're reinstalling, 1-inch plastic valve. So we'll pop that in a moment. First thing we need to do is take the old one out. Now, we've got a couple of things we could do here. We could either take this one out and we can do some repairs on it. Might just need a new seal. We might do that later. I'm just going to show you how to install a new valve. It's pretty straightforward. Now, we could have drained the trough, but I, as you know, have to work under arduous conditions some days. So we're going to have to wander into that water and find the valve, and if we're fortunate and we don't die of frostbite, we'll get that one undone. So I can feel that undoing, which is great. Minimises the time I'm going to have to keep my hands in what is unfortunately today pretty cool water, which might be an understatement. There we go. Okay, that's the valve itself. We've got a brass one in there. You can see, it's a bit hard to see, but there's a little bit of calcification and build up inside there. So rather than muck around out here, I'm going to take that one away. I'm pretty confident we can repair that by just cleaning it up and putting a new seal in, but I'll use that one for another day. So we'll pop that one aside. Just a question of taking this one. Now, brass or plastic, I think that's just a personal preference. I don't think it matters which one you use. And certainly, if I lose that, I'll just pop that down there. But grab that out there. So we're dealing with the same size valve as we had previously, so there's no problems with that. So what we need to do here is just apply some thread tape, and I've got that luckily conveniently located. Again, it doesn't matter so much whether you use this white tape here or pink plumber's tape. Just make sure that we do ensure, again, always going in this direction. Remember, we're just trying to keep that tight so we can apply it. Try not to drop it in the water, would be kind of be convenient. Start to get the wind that on nice and tightly. So again, make sure we get plenty of thread tape on there like that. That looks pretty good, nice and tight. Okay, just a question of again popping ourselves back down in that freezing water, see if we can't locate the thread, which if we're really lucky we will. Okay, there we go. So just a question of tightening that up. And again, tighten that up as far as you can by hand. That's the key thing here. Tighten that up by hand. Okay, and what we just want to do is, again, grab the pliers or multi-grips and just make sure that is fully tight. So I'll just go around another revolution. Obviously impossible to see what I'm doing, and I don't have much idea either. Managed to drop them on this occasion, so see if we can't retrieve them. Sorry to be taking so long, but just a little bit fiddly underwater, but we'll get there. And just as you're doing it up, just keep your other hand on the lever just to see where that lever is, because obviously we want to end up with that lever on top of the valve. That's quite important. So I'm almost there, just a little bit more. Okay, terrific. I can feel that is now sitting on top. So you can see there's the valve fully installed like that. What we end up doing is we grab the string there and we just bring it up through the centre of the float, and of course, as luck would have it, it's a cold day, not ideal, and we pull that up like that. Now, what I've actually done in this occasion here, I've actually pre-cut the length of that poly tube, and I'll mention that poly tube in a moment. So I've pre-cut that. It's just a question of applying tension, and we run it round. If you can just see, I've run it round there once. I've already got some tension on this, so now I can adjust that as I want it, and that should stay in place. It's then just a question of, it's a double loop, and that may be hard to see. It's a double loop which then goes back over the top, and then I pull that tight like that. Simple as that. The job's actually done. The tub's a little bit full today, but that's it. It's quite straightforward. So as long as we keep that tension, it's not a problem. Now, I did make mention of this tubing here, and we did pre-cut this one. That one probably was a little short last time. What this tubing is preventing is, as the float drops down, that the cord doesn't become entangled. So that float, this piece of So this piece of tubing is quite important, but you can cut them to length to suit. So I did cut this one. I cut probably about 20 or 30 millimetres off this one, so that fits perfectly well. So there it is. If you need to readjust it, as I said, just apply the tension and you can adjust it and get your water level right.